All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Hello, friends. It is Wednesday, April 9th, here from the Masters in Augusta. No, we are actually still in our own hometowns. Jake's in Kansas City. I'm in Texas, but it is Masters week. And if you haven't downloaded the app, now's the time to do it. I, on Monday, was already trying to watch the driving range footage of the first practice round. However, some inclement weather has come through. They've actually had to give patrons their tickets back on Monday and had to reimburse them from the first practice round of patrons being allowed onto the course to watch that transpire. They obviously had to cancel the practice round and things like that because of the weather. Obviously trying to keep the course in as best of condition as possible. And so, but they've got the most amount of data and coverage that you can possibly ever imagine. And the fact that the Masters does this for this tournament and they're their own entity within the PGA, we need more of this in sports. Super Bowl week, Jake. I want practice cams. I want like full media outlook on everything. Now I know practices and things like that in the Super Bowl, you're not allowed. You obviously cannot film that. I want some sort of data. I need some more inside stuff on all things when it comes to sports athletics and things like the way the Masters handles the entire week of the tournament. Top notch, better. It does not get better than the Masters.
Yeah, the Augusta is the Super Bowl of golf.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, in golf right now also is bigger than it's ever been.
Could one argue, Jake, that the Masters is more important of a win than the PGA Championship?
I mean, I think all the majors are fairly equal, especially how players view them. But the FedEx Cup definitely feels like
Secondary.
it's secondary, but it's obviously still amplified from everything else, and money wise, it's huge. And I do think it's grown over the last few years, just as more fans have watched more golf, but it'll still never be a major. There's to me, it's like you have winning some of the big PGA, you have winning a regular PGA Tour event, you have winning some of the bigger PGA Tour events, then you have like winning the FedEx Cup, and then you have winning the majors just at the ceiling.
And then I would say the Masters is the number one major you want to win.
Yeah. Some of the European guys, it may be the Open, which is very, I mean, especially when it's at the old course.
By the way, hey, can it be the British Open again? Why did we ever drop British from the Open?
It's probably insensitive or something. I don't know.
I hate the Open. The British Open and the US Open, that was kind of a rivalry in itself.
I also just wish it was at the old course like every year.
Yeah.
Or every other year. The
Winchester or something like that. I think
yeah,
that's what they
I just call it, everyone calls it the old course. It's like the original course. It's in the middle. I've watched YouTube golfers play it. It's unbelievable how
it's crazy that it's a public course. You and I could go play it for like $50.
Yeah, and it's just kind of in the middle. Sometimes there's like a park that runs through it almost, and you got to wait for patrons to kind of walk through.
Yeah.
If you're just putting out for the pros, but if you're just playing it, and I mean, it's just a really cool. It's the same course it's been for like a century or more.
Yeah.
I think every major is really big. I think most people say the Masters is on a tier of its own, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who do have a different favorite major. But for me, it's Augusta. It's the beautiful course. Even when I wasn't into golf, I always watched the Masters.
Speaking of hello friends, did you see Jim Nantz setting his retirement date 11 years from now? Whenever it's what is it? It's some milestone for the Masters.
It'd be his 50th Masters calling, and I think it's the 100th Masters overall.
It's something along those lines.
It's something along those lines. I don't have the exact data point, but it's for me it's number one, but I do think all majors have a special feel to them. It's not like
Well, and then you
Nothing comes
obviously,
close to the Masters. I do think the other majors still come close.
I mean, you obviously still have like the Ryder Cup too, that is huge for the golf community.
Separate thing, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing for golf, and we have that this year.
We
Very
do.
exciting. And golf is, to me, and we've talked about this off air a bunch, is golf is the best it's ever been right now. Just the amount of good golfers, how competitive the guys are. Full Swing's been an awesome addition to getting to learn more of the guys' personalities and just seeing how competitive most of these
Dude,
dudes are and how good they are. It's just unbelievable.
Rory McIlroy, he can be the bad boy of I'm Mr. Prude and I don't like YouTube golfers and this, that, and the other. YouTube golf has made a lot of these guys, their personalities shine and show through some of the things that they do on YouTube golf. And I'm talking the Colin Morikawas, talking about the Bubba Watsons, I'm talking about Ricky Fowler, those guys, Bryson DeChambeau, complete 180 of
One of the
what.
most incredible stories of an athlete ever. Just how he became from unanimously the most hated golfer to pretty much unanimously loved now,
Yeah, or at least tolerable and
or
likable,
liked
well
or
liked.
loved.
Yeah, yeah, and so I just think that this game has grown to an incredible amount of popularity, not just because you and I can go pick up some clubs and we can go play around and we can go play a course that the pros play technically, if we really wanted to. Like it's not that far fetched of an idea. Like I'll never be able to play in an NBA or NFL arena and play an actual game of football and know what that feels like. I could go to Austin and play on a course that is a PGA level course that they actually play at on a yearly annual basis. Like I can go do that, go plan a weekend, 2 weekends from now and go do that. So there's obviously that aspect to it. But Jake, something you and I have talked about, Tiger Woods is not going to be playing in the Masters. He obviously has the Achilles injury, but Tiger Woods is kind of the reason why golf has expanded its popularity, but the Tiger Woods effect is the reason why Tiger Woods can no longer win a tournament at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact he won in 19 is still just unbelievable because golf was already to this Tiger boom effect in 19 and he found a way to win one. I'll never fully count him out from finding a way to win another major.
No,
Never.
no,
As
no.
long as he is willing to play, I will never fully count. I will never say it's impossible. Is
Sure,
it very unlikely? Yes.
sure.
But is it impossible? No, because 19 was impossible and he did it. But yeah, I mean, if he doesn't win again and he's able to compete again and play decent, the biggest reason he won't win again is because of himself. All these amazing golfers, it's like taking an opposite effect of how, you had Jordan, who influenced a era of extremely competitive basketball players that had that, crazy mentality. Kobe obviously is the top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have thought Kobe would have had the same effect on people, and instead you get what the NBA is now, which is
LeBron.
half-ass effort during most of the games, and then kind of try in the playoffs, and just shoot threes and try to dunk it, and not really care if you're winning and drinking vino with your friends after the game who were your opponents. But then you have these golfers who are more competitive than the guys in the NBA, and it's all from that Tiger mindset.
Yeah.
Tiger has influenced all these guys who are at the top of the PGA now will be like, yeah, Tiger's the reason I wanted to play. And
I watched Tiger whenever I was 6 years old, hit some of the most iconic golf moments in the history of the sport, and it made me want to pick up clubs. And it'll be 98% of what the PGA is now is Tiger Woods influencing those golfers to play and to play at the highest level and to train the way they do and to have the work ethic that they do and the competitive fire that they do to make golf as competitive as it is right now. So with all that being said, Jake, I just wanted to kind of have that conversation because we've had it, you and I together. We've never had that conversation on air about the Tiger effect and him kind of being his own worst enemy when it comes to the upbringing of today's golf. Because everyone, whenever Tiger was kind of going through his thing with, whether it be legal issues, whether it be health issues, whether it just be him being able to play the game anymore. Everybody said, well, golf is going to die without Tiger. Golf has never been stronger without Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger to me is probably the most influential athlete ever.
Yeah.
Just because you had golf that was no one cared about really professional golf before Tiger. I mean, back in the day, yes, but it'd been a long time since there was that type of level of popularity at golf. Tiger brought it. And then you had when Tiger started going down a little bit, you kind of had another little drought in there, and that's when everyone was doubting. But then you had all these younger golfers start coming along who had all been influenced by Tiger Woods. And that's people forgot that the Tiger boom wasn't going to happen instantly. You don't have a 30-year-old who picks up clubs and then goes pro. That doesn't happen in golf. You got to start at a younger age.
Are you telling me I'm not going to go pro, Jake?
I've seen you play. You are not going pro.
I'm not. I don't understand. Yeah.
But you got all these guys you just trained from young ages, and now they're unbelievable. And then you get 20, 30 of them. I mean, the top 50 of golf now is, I mean, the majority of them would have won a ton of golf tournaments, pre-Tiger Woods era. And they're just at a different level now, and it makes watching even just the regular events. I watch more golf than I've ever watched before in my life, and I continue to look forward to watching it every week, not just the Masters. I'm watching the Valero Texas Open. Yep. I'm watching obviously like the Waste Management, the Players, but I'm watching even the smaller ones that
I watched the Houston Open 2 weekends ago, where Minwoo Lee.
And because of Full Swing and Minwoo Lee's also very big in the golf influencer world, but I kind of watch more of the Bob Does Sports and those types of guys. But Minwoo Lee, Full Swing, I just watched that season and I was like, I hope this guy wins. Just after seeing his story and kind of learning more about him. And then he wins that tournament. And I'm like, hell yeah. Now I'm like, hey, his game lines up well for Augusta. Let's see how he does there. And it's just another golfer to add to my list of golfers that I like, whether it be because of off the course stuff or just because I like how they play golf.
Yep. All right, Jake, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into some favorites. And then we can also talk a little bit about betting odds on favorites. But Jake, before we get into that, do you want to get into your favorite Masters moments? And then we'll go into favorites this year and we'll kind of break it down, any dark horses or crazy predictions, anything along those lines. Let's go ahead before we get into that. Best Masters moments.
I mean, can we both just say number one is 2019?
Man, it would be really tough for me for the Nike golf commercial of Tiger. I think it was on the 16th.
I think it's the 16th. I'm pretty sure
back in like 2008 or something, whenever it was maybe 2006. And he was just the putt off the green into it. And then the Nike ball commercial where it zooms in and the just stays on the lip. And can you believe it? Vern with the best call maybe in Masters history. That probably might be up there because I remember vividly watching that whenever I was a kid. And that was probably my first golf is kind of cool. This isn't some like old man sport that my grandpa makes me play whenever I go visit him in Louisiana. This is a really cool sport. And so that might be up there as one of my favorites. Also Phil Mickelson winning his first Masters, the 18-foot putt, and him just jumping up and down. I've always been more so Team Tiger than Team Phil. But I've always thought Team Phil was always pretty cool. Like I do think that there are other moments that may challenge 2019 Tiger, but as an adult, recent memory, I mean, just the nostalgia of seeing Tiger walk up to the 18th with the entire gallery surrounding him on the green in 2019 is a pretty special moment.
Yeah, and just the story of all the injuries, all the personal issues, and having to grow from those and become what appears to be a very good father, and kind of turn his life around personally, and then the physical side of things. And everyone's saying he was never going to win again. No one thought he was ever going to win a major again or even
I was one of
contend
them.
for one.
I was one of
Yeah.
them.
And then you learn to never doubt him. Because
Yep.
I would always tell you, be like, I doubt he will, but it's Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And he'd just be like, you're just saying that because it's Tiger Woods. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
It's
why I'm
Tiger
saying.
Woods. And then he did it.
Jake, do you have a favorite hole that you like to watch?
I mean, just all of Amen Corner is
Beautiful.
is special.
Yeah.
And just how challenging it is for the players because of the option, the decisions you have to make. And it seems like every year, despite the fact that the wind's going to be swirling, someone gets it in the water. And it's because you have such a narrow landing area to take it on all of those holes where there's water danger. And that always seems to be the breaking point. So those, and specifically on the final 9 on the final day, are special to watch because that's where the champion is typically. Ask Jordan Spieth. That is where the champion is typically made or lost.
Or lost for sure. All right, Jake. Your favorites, not just the betting favorites, but some of your favorites going into this. You can name, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 guys that you really like, and then give me a dark horse.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Rory McIlroy would be my number one favorite, and I know it's a basic answer, but he's playing the best golf that he's played in a very long time right now. He just won the Players. I know he has been very focused on winning a major, and the Masters is right there up top on that list for him. So for me, Rory's a definite favorite. I actually do think Min-Woo Lee could be kind of a fun dark horse type guy in the Masters this year. And then I texted you a name earlier that I'm blanking on now. Do you recall who I said?
Off the top of my head, oh, you did say Ludwig Oberg.
Yeah, and he's not necessarily
You thought
a
maybe
dark
one of the
horse,
live guys.
but yeah, I would say Rory. I'm gonna throw Min-Woo Lee in there for fun. I do think his game can, and then Bryson was the one I said.
Gotcha.
Because Bryson, it kind of became a meme, his master performances, just kind of like how he was a meme, and then every year it's gotten better. And last year he was in it until Sunday.
He
And
had a big,
and now it feels like the natural progression would to be in it on come Sunday or win it. And I could see Bryson doing that this year. I believe he's been playing pretty well on the Live Tour as well. So yeah, get Min-Woo's kind of my dark horse. Throw it out there. I know he just won a tournament, but still, I don't think most people would be picking him. Rory is kind of my favorite. Then Bryson is maybe kind of the in between.
So according to CBS Sports, the Rory McIlroy to complete his career Grand Slam, this is the only major he is missing out of his career Grand Slam, is plus 650. That's second best odds behind Scotty Scheffler at plus 400. Scotty Scheffler looking to win 3 out of the last 4 green jackets. Have we seen a dominant run other than Tiger? I mean, I would have to go back to Jack Nicklaus or, Arnold Palmer to see if they had a stretch of 5 years that were as dominant as Scotty Scheffler and Tiger with the Masters.
Yeah, I mean,
I know Bubba Watson went back-to-back years.
Jordan Spieth would be.
Spieth had like a 2-3 year run where I think he's won 2 Masters total.
Yeah, I believe he won a second one.
But yeah,
sure.
So Scotty Scheffler still odds-on favorite to win this whole thing, and he's won 2 out of the last 3, looking to go 3 out of the last 4. One guy that I always like, Jake, is Colin Morikawa. I'm a Colin Morikawa guy. I've always loved his swing. I feel like his swing is just, you have to have consistency at the Masters, and there's no one, in my opinion, that has, well, aside from Scotty and some of these other guys, but that is just as consistent as Morikawa is of just ball striking and just placing it where it needs to be, staying out of trouble. If you get into trouble at the Masters, you find yourself dropping a lot of strokes. And so I think he always finds himself in a setup, and he's a pretty conservative golfer. I think conservative golf plays well at the Masters, which is why Bryson typically struggles, which is why Rory typically struggles. They're so aggressive. That patience doesn't always pay off for them. But between Colin, you know who I told you a dark horse, and I kind of like Patrick Cantlay for whatever reason. I just think Cantlay is just, he might be kind of due for a major. I don't know his whole story in terms of majors won. Maybe he has one major under his belt, but he always feels like he's in the mix.
I believe he won. I do believe he won one. I think it was the US Open, but
was it the US? That sounds.
I definitely could be wrong, but I believe he has one.
Yeah. I like Will Zalatoris. I think the reason why I always attribute Will Zalatoris to the Masters was whenever he was the low amateur, and I feel like the low amateur always ends up winning the Masters at some point in their career. And so since he was low amateur, I've literally called Will Zalatoris at some point to be in the mix or win the Masters, just because I want to be that. I want to be when he wins it. I want to call it, and so I've always thrown his name out there since
that.
then.
That's me with Victor Hovland.
Yeah,
I was like blown away with him when he was the low amateur, and I mean he is really good and a PGA Tour winning golfer, and he's been close in several majors. He's another guy that if he has a good weekend, who's a name neither of us have mentioned who should be an obvious one. Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, Schauffele. Yeah.
Won 2 majors last year.
Yeah. No, he was, I think,
and he's always in it in the Masters.
He's number 3 golfer in the world right now. I think right behind Rory and Scotty. And so,
yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. And yeah, you're right. He probably is the least talked about top 3 golfer in the world, to be completely honest.
Especially with the year he had last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Big year last year. Now, the thing that scares me about Scotty, Jake, is that Scotty hasn't won this year. And that just means he has just been. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you mean it actually?
I mean, like, he hasn't won yet. So how many tournaments is this guy going to play without winning? And it's a major.
Starting to play better because he was coming off an injury and he's been amping up. And he was in it he's been in it in several tournaments.
Yeah, well, this last weekend, I think he finished top 25. I think the weekend where Minwoo won at the Houston Open, I think Scotty was on
second.
He was second. So, so he's right up there. He's playing some decent enough golf to really put his name in the mix. But yeah, man, I love going down the list of guys and just seeing even past winners that haven't really been around, but the past winners always come back to Augusta. You'll get a name like, let's see. I mean, obviously Phil's going to be out there, but Freddie Couples is going to be out there. Vijay Singh is going to be out there. You're just going to get, Louis Oosthuizen. You're going to get these older names that, you're just like, oh yeah, they won it in like 2016. I remember that. Or they won it back in 2004. And they're still, going to go out there and shoot plus 20 just because it's Augusta. Why not?
I would do the same thing.
I would do the same.
I want to name just one more name because I think it's a guy we both like. He's been a little quiet this year, but he always seems to play well come this time of year and come the Masters. Hasn't necessarily been in contention, but a guy I think could find himself in contention sooner or later is Sahith Theegala.
Sahith is, yeah. He always seems to kind of throw his name in the ring from time to time, just randomly. And you're like, oh yeah, this dude's a pretty
well. Last year, as far as FedEx Cup goes, he finished really well. I think top 10, top 5.
Right.
And he's done well at the Masters, either last year or the year before, maybe both years. But that's another name where I feel like this is about the time of the year where he starts to play better golf.
Whose game that I really thought benefited from being in the PGA and before moving to LIV. I won't ever fault anybody for going to the LIV Tour. I'm not one of those guys. If their money is there, the money's there. But Cam Smith was somebody who I felt was kind of this rising star in PGA, and his game since going to LIV and then playing in the majors in the PGA has really never been back up to that standard that I was used to seeing him early on in the PGA days. Is that me or is that valid?
No, that's valid. He had some inconsistency at the PGA level, but you felt like he was one of those guys who was going to get to a different level.
Yeah.
But just never did, which is weird because you see most of the top guys that went to LIV are still top guys come major time. And it's why it's kind of a joke that
Dustin
They haven't
Johnson's
found
a
a
weird
better
one.
ranking system. Dustin Johnson's a weird one, but he's still been in it in majors since going to live. Brooks has
Right.
won majors since going to live, and Brooks is always in it come majors. Another name that could very much be in it
Yeah.
this weekend to win it.
How are you feeling about our boy Brooks, Blake Koepka?
I mean, I will never doubt him come major time. He has that he has the Kobe mindset, but specifically towards majors.
Just
He is a
major.
major hunter. He wants to win golf tournaments, and it does start to drive nuts if he's not winning anything for a little while. But he feasts off majors, and he's made that known that he's like, I want to win every golf tournament I play, but I really fucking want to win majors. Sorry, I just that one slid out because that's how he says it.
Yeah, because that's what he says. That's quoting. That's
And
quoting the
it's late
man
at
himself.
night. I'm quoting. You can't strike me if I
No,
quote.
no. If it's a quote, you can't strike him down.
But yeah, I mean, majors are what he hunts, and because of that reason, and he has been in contention with the Masters 2019. He was one of the guys that was in contention, but fell to the wrath of Tiger Woods. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at the top of the leaderboard. The live guys are hard to project just because live is on at weird times because it's all over the world. I have watched a little bit of live this year just because it's so accessible.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do think they need to fix this rank. They need to get this merger thing done. I want to see tournaments with both sides in it where they compete against each other
I don't
because
think they're
it's
even
very
close.
obvious. It's very obvious. I think you would agree as well, and you can tell me if you don't. It's very obvious that this belief that the live golf would cause these golfers' game to drop off compared to the PGA guys who are playing an extra day and have to wear long pants has not proven to be true.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's going to bump the live players' play up a little bit, in my opinion. I just think that the standard, these guys, one thing that I notice, and yeah, this is going to shout out or other podcasts, and not even podcasts, they're just a channel, but Bob Does Sports. Fab Perez is probably the best golfer on that channel. Well, he is the best golfer, he's scratch. And his mindset of whenever they have to go play what is it, Grant
Horvat.
Whenever they go play Grant Horvat and he sees Grant start playing well, it's not, oh man, like he's just so good. It drives him to literally play better. And he's got this mindset of, oh, I'm competing now. Here we go. I'm gonna try to turn it up a notch, and it only drives him. He's got that fire under him a little bit. I think that's for any competitive golfer out there. They just have this natural, like, it's not I'm intimidated because Scotty Scheffler is running the table. It's more so like, oh, it's game on now. Here we go. Like, let's step up our game a little bit. I think we're going to get more of that from the live guys than we will anything else, rather than it be the opposite of the tour guys dropping their play.
Well, and we saw that the first Masters after live, the year live started, everyone was down to live guys, and the Michael Jordan meme, the live guys took that personally, and they were like 4 out of the top 5. I mean, it's driven them, if anything, all the media, and that mostly that media narrative has died now because they've continually competed in majors or won majors since they've gone to live. But I think most people are ready for some type of deal to be done where they're going to be, and I don't know why it's taking so long to have tournaments where they compete against each other. Cause I want to see, that's why I love the major so much. We get all the best golfers competing against each other at once. And that's what I think everybody wants. I don't want to have to watch Bryson on a separate tour from the PGA Tour, or Brooks or Dustin Johnson.
Right.
All these top guys who are on the LIV Tour. John Rahm, Phil Mickelson. I want to watch Phil on the, I want to see them all compete against each other. And I've actually grown to enjoy watching the live casually because it is a different vibe. It's kind of fun, but I still want to see just the full field together. And that's what the Masters and the majors bring.
All right, Jake.
Most golf talk we've had by far.
Oh, And I love it. And we weren't planning on going a full 30 minutes. So hand up on that one. We were planning on having this be a little shorter of an episode, but it's just, we're two 30-year-old guys that like golf. So, official winner, Jake, official. Let's put a marker in there.
You know what? Bryson DeChambeau. I'm
Wow.
I want to say Rory, but man, I just do not trust him not to be 2 over through 7 on the first day.
Wow.
I worry about him putting himself in a hole, and I trust this progression I've seen from Bryson, and I don't know. I can just envision it. So I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau. I might sprinkle a little money on it too. Put some money behind my prediction. But yeah, that's who I'm going to predict to be the winner.
Put your money where your mouth is. I like it.
3 years ago, I would slap myself right now, by the way. But I like Bryson now. I do. I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah. I always go with Morikawa. I'm not going to go with Morikawa because I want to.
I think you picked him the last 3 years to win the Masters.
I'm not going to go with it because I feel like eventually he will get it, and I want to be the year where I predict it. But I don't think it's this year. I really don't. Man, I'm just now looking at a name on there that we haven't mentioned, and it's kind of jumping out on the page to me. But a Wyndham Clark is kind of appetizing at plus 8,000. You know what? I'm gonna go with my dark horse. I'm gonna go Patrick Cantlay, Jake. He's the first one that kind of jumped out to me. And I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go Patrick Cantlay.
Might have to finish up on Monday if he's gonna win, but he's very slow. Very slow golfer. No, he seems like he's always top 10, top 15, and those guys break through and win randomly all of a sudden.
I do think a Wyndham Clark could play really well. He had a great season last year.
The names like that, the guys you're like, well, they haven't been playing their best golf right now. That goes away come Augusta because everyone prepares for Augusta differently. And those top guys, they typically come out play really well. And Wyndham Clark's been a top golfer in the world, despite the fact that some people don't like that for whatever reason. He's been pretty consistent over the last few years.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it, Jake. That is our Masters edition of All In Horns on this Wednesday afternoon. Tomorrow, all the greatness will start up, and I will be in my office like I am on the first round of March Madness, and I will have the Masters dual screen action going on of different featured groups, different golfers that I'll be following throughout all of Thursday and Friday. And I know Jake will too. So for Jake Jimerson, I'm Tanner Carlson. This is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns, brought to you by Rogue Sports Network. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All In Sports Network. We love sports.